Welcome to Big Chats with Ricky West, featuring the man, the myth, the legend, Seb Hunchooo. Welcome in,
Woo, woo. Thank
welcome
you,
in.
Mr. West. Ricky West. Excited, fired up to be on this fucking pod, baby.
Good stuff. Folks, as you can tell, I'm rocking a different cap today, but it won't be for long. And you're about to find out why. We're going to be talking about Miami football and the heroics of their god
Wow.
awful coaching staff. Lord only knows why Mario Cristobal still has a job. He is the definition of garbage. He should have emptied out his desk the other day because that guy has zero excuses as to why he did what he did the other day. His only excuse was, I called the wrong play. We should have taken a knee. Seb, when have you ever seen a team decide to try to run the ball and just be ballsy when you can end up in victory formation?
Yeah. Honestly, like you said, man, it's unexcusable. I've never seen anything like that. That's probably the craziest thing I've ever seen. And I can't imagine. I feel for all the people that might have bet on that game. That's the first thing that came into my head was, my God, could you imagine taking Miami money line and that was the last leg of your parlay and you can take a knee right to it. And the coach, obviously, I think we've known for a while he's not a good play caller. He's not a good coach. This year they were looking all right. They were looking pretty good, but I think everybody's at fault, man. I mean, how do you not have anybody on that sideline that's saying, "Hey, man, what the hell's going on here?" If you're the quarterback, how are you not looking at the clock and being like, "Hey, man, what the hell's going on?" If I'm the center, if I'm the running back, anybody on the team, anybody on the sidelines had to go up and tell this guy, "Hey, man, what are we doing? Let's call a timeout and run the ball." I'm sorry, take a knee. Yeah, that is one of the craziest things I've ever seen in a while, at least for sure.
The fact that the quarterback didn't even be like, "No, coach, I'm taking a knee." Like, no, bro,
I mean, if I'm
we're winning.
if I'm the running back, I'm grabbing that ball and taking a knee. I mean,
Yeah, like, oh my
it's
god,
ridiculous. Yeah,
all
the coaching
all
staff
the way
deserves
around
fault.
terrible. Miami has to go. Piece of shit. I actually so I have season tickets to the Miami Dolphins, and I gave my father the seats this weekend to go with his friend, and they were handing those out at the game. You know why they were handing them out? For people to just throw them in the trash can because they
Yeah,
have no use for them anymore, folks. We are back in the OG Hemi Neutron. Hemi is him.
let's go.
Jimmy, the Hemi
Ricky
Butler,
West.
is returning here very soon. I got a buddy at the Heat Hornets game tonight. Good vibes, good vibes.
Always.
NBA preseason. NBA is around the corner soon. We'll hit on NBA later. But first things first, I do want to acknowledge, folks, if you see me looking up at the TV, I am watching opening night NHL, uh, Blackhawks, Penguins. We got the old versus the new. We got the old best prospect of all time, Sidney the Kid Crosby, as they used to call him. Now he's kind of an old man, drafted in 2005. And this year, the newly highest grade prospect who broke all of Sidney Crosby's records, Connor Bedard, is making his NHL debut.
Yeah, it seems like the guys with first name Connor seem to be pretty good at hockey. You got that kid, and then obviously the guy who plays
Dave,
for the
yeah,
Oilers, who nobody really knows about. That guy's also a superstar. But yeah, hockey's back, baby. We had to come out with the hockey jersey,
big
Pensacola Flyers,
facts.
the city that me and Ricky West met at. So I had to bring it
Exactly.
out. Um,
Exactly. I love it. I love it.
of course, Tampa Bay came out hot. They already won tonight, 5-3. I think they're going to be right in the running again for it this year. We got some good teams. We got Vegas, Colorado, big Avs fan. They're fast. Love the way they play. I
Yeah,
think the
so
Devils are going to be pretty good. I think the Devils are going to surprise people again this year. But yeah, I'm
how about
excited, man. Fired up for that NHL season.
how about them cats though? My goodness.
Listen, I'm not a big listen. I'm from South Florida, just like you, but I don't like all the fake hype, man. I don't like Miami fans. I don't like Miami fans.
No, I
They only
agree.
support the team in the playoffs.
I agree. I'm a true South Florida sport fan through and through, but I completely agree that it's like when the Heat are going on like a deep playoff run, people start throwing the Heat all over their story, and it's like I know who the true Heat fans are that are posting on the stories and who the frauds are.
Yeah,
Um,
and that's
for-
the thing. That's why I feel for, right? So I have a lot of friends who are real fans of all Miami teams, and then you have all these people who out of nowhere come out of left field and start rooting for the Heat, start rooting for the Panthers,
the
and as
Dolphins.
soon as they're eliminated, you couldn't see any type of anything from them in any way. And I'm a Marlins fan. I'm a big Fish fan, and I was upset. The Marlins did something really incredible this year. Just to touch on that real quick, and nobody showed up to the games. Nobody was posting them. Like we made the playoffs, and yet now you guys don't want to come out. It's only when they're doing really
Marlins
good.
the Marlins were abysmal and embarrassing in the playoffs, which is why nobody wanted to post them. Um, let's go Fish. I do agree.
Always,
Uh,
always.
I'm not a big baseball guy anymore, though. I've grown very unfond of baseball. I will forever be in support of the Marlins, but I just can't find it in me to just watch multiple baseball games. But speaking on baseball, there was a great game last night.
Wow,
We had the Braves come back against the Phillies, which was huge for the Braves
huge,
because
massive.
that would have put them down 2-0. They would have been one game away from elimination after an unbelievable season by them. But you know what? I will say the Philadelphia Phillies are built for the playoffs, Huncho. They were built different last year,
Absolutely.
and they're looking different this year once again.
Absolutely. When it comes to postseason baseball, it's all about who gets. Hey, I love it. I love the mug, baby. Big chats.
Yeah,
When it comes to postseason baseball, it's all about who gets hot, man. I mean, you look at the Phillies. They got really hot last year. They were, I think, the sixth seed last year. And they made it all the way to the World Series. So it's just about who gets hot. I do want to talk about that comeback yesterday though, because like you said, that is a must-win game for Atlanta. If you go down 2-0 in a best of five,
you're done.
going back to Philly, you're done. I mean,
You're done.
obviously Atlanta has done things that we've seen. I mean, offensively, maybe I've never seen in my life. I mean, this year was a very historic year for them hitting home runs. Obviously Acuna with the MVP, 70 stolen bases. You know, the
Insane.
guy's incredible. But yeah, that comeback last night. I mean, to be down 4-0 and to be down 4-1 in the bottom of the seventh, and then out of nowhere down 4-3 with 2 outs, 2 strikes, bottom eight. What a swing by Austin Riley. Big time swing. And then we go to the top of the ninth, a leadoff walk. And then Michael Harris with, my goodness, had to be a top 10 play, Sports Center. And then that was incredible. I mean, that guy is a gold glover in center field. Absolutely incredible play. Great heads up play by Austin Riley, and the Braves got it done. I mean, that's big time.
Hats off to him. Hats off. Let's go. Let's
Not
go.
that not that
Let's
we
go.
support. Listen, if both teams could lose somehow, that would be a win, baby. Uh, hate the Braves, hate the
Correct.
Phillies, but yeah,
Correct. I
hats
don't
out
know
to the
either, but you know what? You gotta give respect where respect is due. It's like
100%.
I don't like Tom Brady. I hate Tom Brady, but you gotta give respect where respect is due, Seb
Hey,
Hunchooo.
listen, greatness is hated. Greatness is hated. It'll always be hated.
Correct. Correct. He tortured my Dolphins for 20 years. So I
Yeah,
have
he
nothing
did.
good to say for the guy, except
Good guy though, great
you
guy.
gotta give respect where respect is due. And you know what? Had to break out real quick. Had to break out real quick while we're switching on topics over to what's probably my favorite topic is the NFL. Seb Hunchooo, we're
You
gonna
know,
start off.
Ricky West, I wanted to say real quick before we get into the NFL, because obviously we're going to be on that topic for a while. You and I are both huge fans.
We are in
Um,
a
I
fantasy
wanted
league.
to mention real quick the Dodgers. Yes, we are a big fantasy league. I wanted to mention real quick the Dodgers being down 0-2. I mean, obviously that lineup is loaded. They have one of the
Correct.
best
Correct.
lineups.
I
Pitching has
did
been
miss the
pitiful. No worries, man. I wanted to talk about it because you got to give. We're talking about giving our flowers and taking our hats off. We got to take our hats off to the Diamondbacks lineup. I mean, the bats have been
absolutely.
torching hot. I think they've scored like 3 or 4 runs in both of the first innings so far.
Oh my god.
Um, they're just taking it
Just
to
giving
them,
the
and it
Dodgers
was
no
both
chance.
games in LA.
Oh my god.
And
See,
the
I've
Dodgers
never
are
really
against
seen
the
much
wall now.
attention. That's crazy, dude. They're just
And
giving
the
them no.
Dodgers, I mean, with all that money,
I'd love
and
to
they're
see
going to be chasing
Arizona win.
Otani.
I'd love to see Arizona win it all, though. They're just
A good underdog story, right?
organization. Yeah, exactly. They're an organization who is just not a winning organization. They When's the last time the D-backs even won World Series? When's the last time they won a freaking playoff series, man?
Who
When the big
knows?
unit was in there?
I hope so. Big Randy.
Oh my, the puck's loose. Why'd they stop the play?
But
Wow.
yeah, we definitely got to give our hats off to the Diamondbacks and criticize the Dodgers.
Yeah.
We definitely got to
Yeah.
criticize the Dodgers a little bit, man. I mean, that lineup is a little too loaded to not be putting up runs right now. And this is a big offseason because if they can make a run, whatever team makes a run, we all know Otani is gonna want to be on a competing team. He said that. He said it's not about the money. Obviously, this dude's about to sign the biggest
Obviously, it
contract
is
in
about
sports
the money
history,
because he's gonna sign a heifer.
right? He's gonna sign the biggest contract probably in sports history. And I say probably, and I mean
He
99.9%.
deserves it. He deserves
Absolutely, absolutely. He's a freak of nature. The guy's doing things I've never seen, we've never seen.
great.
And like I said, he said he wants to compete though for a championship. So the Dodgers have the money, have a championship roster. But now, I mean, you get knocked out, maybe swept by the Diamondbacks.
Dude, you know what though? I'm tired of all these superstars just going to the same freaking teams. Like the Dodgers have a full on all-star roster. They don't need to add
Ridiculous.
Otani. Like grow a pair and go out and win yourself a World Series. Don't pay more money to bring in the best player in the league right now when you guys have the best roster in the league. Enough
Absolutely.
is enough, and I think the MLB needs to do something to put an end to this nonsense and put a salary cap on these teams because it's getting ridiculous in my eyes.
It is.
Whatever owners have the most money or are willing to forfeit the most money are who's going to be competing year in and year out. And it's honestly
Yeah.
BS for a lot of these organizations. It's super rare to see
Unless you're
specific
the Yankees.
organizations
Unless you're the Yankees.
in the playoffs. Like it's unbelievable. Like it's super rare to see the Yankees not in the playoffs right now. They have more money
Yeah.
vested in one player than some organizations do in their entire org,
100%.
So like
Yeah.
I'm fed up with it. I hope you're fed up with it. And I just think it's absolute nonsense personally.
It is. It is. It's definitely getting to the point where it's like, hey, we can just pay you a lot more and we're gonna pay to have a really good roster.
Correct.
Um, Baseball's a tough sport, obviously. I think in my opinion, baseball's the toughest sport. And you have teams like, I mean, sometimes it doesn't pan out. Look at the Yankees this year. Pretty bad. Look at the Mets, the New York Mets. Gotta point them out. Obviously, Marlins
Yankees
fan.
and Mets, bro.
We're
Two
spending no
heavy,
money, and the
heavy
Mets spend
days.
the most.
Insane.
So for those reasons, it doesn't work out a lot, but yeah, it is getting to the point where these big time franchises can just go out and pay all this money to get their players, and then you have teams
It's super
like the
annoying, right?
Dodgers, like the
You have the
Yankees,
same
like the
team,
Mets,
the
whether it
Reds,
works out or not.
the Dodgers, the Mets, the Yankees. Those are the 4 orgs, and you know who stepped in to a big role of that in the last 2 years? Is the Padres.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, big market, big city
Big
vibes,
money,
big city
big money.
vibes
Alright, alright. So
for
on that
sure.
note, though, we're gonna move on from the MLB. We're gonna get into the NFL. We're gonna talk about the abysmal vibes first. Then we're gonna get into some positive ones. We'll hit off with the worst of the worst. I feel
Oof.
right now is the New England Patriots. They seem to not be
Yeah.
able to know what the end zone is anymore. Bill Belichick has suffered his worst 2 losses in back-to-back weeks as a head coach of the New England Patriots, and it is getting hard to watch them. I generally don't wanna watch their games anymore because they're not entertaining, they're just boring to watch. It's kinda like watching paint dry on a wall. Mac Jones sucks. His receivers suck. They're not helping him at all. Um, I just think nothing is going right for that organization. Seb, I know you're a diehard Patriot fan, big time, big time. What's your take on this?
Yeah, my first take is we miss this guy. Um, we miss Big 12. We miss the guy, man. We
I
really do.
forget. I
But
forget
no, man,
that.
I think like you said, man, it's no good right now. There's nothing good in New England. We lost Christian Gonzalez, who looked great as a rookie so far. We lost Judon, who might be our best player. Not might be, he is our best player. And
Correct.
we lose both those guys for probably the year. The way we're playing right now, I don't see why they would bring Judon back early.
No reason.
Gonzalez is gone. But listen, the one thing I will say is one, I will
When
never speak badly
when
about
did
Bill Belichick
Gonzalez
as a coach. What was that?
when did Gonzalez get hurt?
In the same game as Judon, man, against the
Oh,
Cowboys.
no way. Oof.
Yep, yep. We
That
lost
hurt.
both of them in the same game and got blown out by
What
the
was his
most
injury?
points we've ever lost. I believe it was he dislocated his shoulder and tore his labrum, I think. Don't quote me on it, but I think that's what I had read. And but
That
other than
sounds
that, man, I mean, there's two things I will not say. I won't ever speak badly about Bill Belichick as a coach. As a GM, that's a whole different story. And I won't speak badly about Mac. And the reason why I won't speak badly about Mac is because, yes, he has not looked good in any way. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that he's this, next Brady, but I think it's unfair to compare him to a guy like Brady. And I've been seeing that on social media everywhere. And I mean, listen, the Patriots have
and
the
you
worst O
step
line in the NFL
bro, he was the quarterback after Tom, though, that's the thing. It's like, when you step into that
for
role,
sure. And I understand.
that's it. That's who you're gonna be
I
compared to.
agree
You got big shoes to
for
fill.
a long
It
time.
may be unfortunate for him that he had to step into the role after Tom, um, and play the way he's playing, but it is what it is. The comparisons are forever gonna be there. It's like, um, I mean, I don't even know who the guy is after Marino, but, like, some OGs do, and they're like, "That's the guy after Marino," and
Yeah.
he's known as an awful player, so
Yeah. And
what it
I
is.
mean, it's not good. And it I would say it sucks more the position that they put him in rather than being after Tom because first year rookie makes the Pro Bowl, has a good year with McDaniels calling plays. O line was pretty good.
How did he make the
Receivers
Pro
were
Bowl, though?
still
Was he an
garbage.
original selection, or did he
No,
go
no.
via people not
Yeah, he
showing up?
was yeah, people not showing up.
Yeah, that's
For
fraudulent.
sure.
That's
But
fraudulent,
still, hey, but still, for a rookie, still had a
that
good year.
bro,
Pro Bowl or not.
The Ravens backup was in the Pro Bowl last year. Well, I forgot the guy's name. 2, he was horrendous. I was like, "What is going on?" I'd rather have seen Andy Dalton in the freaking playoffs, I mean, in the Pro Bowl last year than that mutt.
Listen, I think the things going on in New England right now, I mean, the guy has less than 2 seconds to throw the ball. He has, I think they're top 3 right now in hurries allowed. I mean, the guy's getting pressured more than anybody in the NFL, and his receivers, I think, are second to last in separation created. And obviously, we're in this era of these crazy statistics that you can now look up, like separation created by a receiver. But I think that has a lot to do with it. As someone who has
Absolutely.
watched every second of every game so far, um, which I probably won't moving forward, because like you said, it is getting absolutely awful and it's very hard to watch. But I think you watch the games and most of the time I sit there and I'm like, man, I can't even blame the quarterback right now. I don't think there's many quarterbacks in the NFL right now that would be good on that team. The O
That's
line
it.
is by far the worst in the NFL.
They have no.
And then we might have one of the worst receiving rooms in the NFL. Our best receivers, maybe
Absolutely.
Demario Douglas, Kendrick Bourne. I mean, it's bad. It's very ugly. It's very bad, and they stink. I'll come out and say it.
Very tough.
They stink.
Very tough. Yeah. So, sad time for Patriot fans. Is always a good time for Dolphin fans. Um, gotta throw that one out there. But
I know.
we're
I
gonna
was
move
thinking when I said they stink 3 times right there. I was thinking in my head, yeah, he's probably been waiting for me to say that for a while now.
on. I have. A lot of people had some pretty high hopes for the Pats this year, and they have proven to just be completely otherwise. But another team that has seemed to have fooled America. They've had some of the best games of the season and some of the worst games of the season, but they have yet to come out, show up big time, and play well against a big time team. And that's the Dallas Cowboys. They come out, they open the season against the Giants 40-0. Little did people know that the New York Giants were going to be one of the bottom 5 teams in
Suck.
the league.
They
They are
stink.
absolutely horrendous. Uh, their O line is the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Daniel Jones, a quarterback who has the ability to evade the sack, is managing to get sacked 10 times a game. He finally got injured, which everybody saw coming because you can't get sacked that many times a game and not eventually get injured.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm going to get off of the Giants and back to the Cowboys. Dak Prescott, abysmal game the other night. Guy couldn't stop throwing interceptions. Almost lost me my DraftKings uh, W the other night. Guy was absolutely horrendous. Only put up 7 fantasy points. Couldn't stop throwing interceptions. Couldn't show up in any big moment that could have kept them in the game. Just all around horrendous performance on both sides of the ball for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah. Like you said, man, they're a fraudulent team. I've thought this for a while, and people, and I'm glad that they got pounded the way they did. I'm glad that the 49ers did not stop. They kind of they took their foot off the gas late in the fourth, but I'm glad that
Yeah,
they
when they
continue to put it
benched their
on them.
starters.
Yeah, I'm glad that they put it on them for as long as they did because the Cowboys, that's what they do. They beat up on bad teams, right? So they beat
Correct.
the Giants 40-0, and they were throwing in the entire fourth quarter, up 40-0. They were still throwing the ball. Then they go to a team, mind you, the Giants are a top 5 worst team in the NFL right now, I think. And then they go and they lose to the Cardinals, which, hey, listen, I saw the other day, I saw the podcast, and you're a big Dobbs guy.
Jack
Big Dobbs.
Daniels. Yes, you and
uh,
Debs.
the Cardinals are playing good ball, but I mean, regardless, I think Dallas should have stomped on them, and they obviously lost. And then they go and they play New England, who might be the worst team in the NFL right now, and they stomp them. And same thing, Dak is out here throwing in the fourth quarter. They're throwing the ball up by 31. It's so I'm glad that they finally went against a team who I think is the hottest team in the NFL, the
Yeah, I
49ers.
think Niners are the best organization of all.
Overall,
Just front to
overall,
back
right now, I think for sure. But
because
yeah, I mean,
they
listen,
have it on both sides of the ball. They have the best
everywhere. I mean,
defense
everywhere.
and they just have a
Receivers,
top tier offense.
McCaffrey. Yeah, tight
Correct.
end, receivers, running back. Brock Purdy doesn't turn the ball over. Defensive end might be the best defensive player in the league. Fred Warner might be arguably a top 5 linebacker in the league.
League.
Secondary super solid. I mean, everywhere. Great coaching, great offensive mind as a coach. 49ers
Yeah.
are a serious, serious threat this year. I think the NFC should be worried.
Oh my God. Yeah. No.
But really
49ers
quick,
are.
back to the Dak. I have to get this off my mind because you see on social media, as a Patriots fan, obviously I follow a lot more Patriots social media than I do Cowboys. Um, but I hate the fact that Mac Jones is just criticized so heavily when he's in a position to fail, and Dak Prescott is not spoken about enough, in my opinion. He has superstar receiver and CeeDee Lamb. He has Tony Pollard, who is awesome. He has a top 5, maybe top 10 O line, but whatever, regardless, a really good offensive line. And he stinks. He stinks. And we got to start worrying about the guys who should be good rather than the guys who are in positions to fail, and we crucify those guys. We got to go after guys like Dak Prescott. He's the one making $40 million a year. You know what I mean? So I have to touch on that real quick because yes, the Cowboys, that is an abysmal loss. And if you're a Cowboys fan, I think right now you're recontemplating a lot of things
I
because
think you're
just
scared.
because you beat the Patriots, yes, yes, just because you beat the Patriots and the Giants by 40 points, and then you get slaughtered by an actual team that's going to compete this year. So they did not look good last night. I can tell you that, or 2 nights ago, whatever.
Correct. Correct. Yeah. I think Dallas Cowboy fans are reevaluating what their season is going to end up looking like. Don't get me wrong, they are still a good team. I can't put it past them, but they're just not showing up in the games that they need to show up in. Those like these big games are the games that show people who you really are, you know? You can't just go out there and get
Absolutely.
embarrassed. You just can't.
And
Um,
that's like that was a great word for it. Embarrassing. It was embarrassing. They got stomped on.
yeah, they
It,
got
it
steamrolled.
looked like a good football team against a bad football team.
Correct. Correct. It really did. I will say though, you can't judge a team based on one game, but when they're not showing up in multiple big games, then it's a problem. So we'll obviously see how the rest of this season goes, but I'd definitely be scared if I were a Cowboy fan.
For sure.
We're gonna move on into a a team who's been great, but they had a bad week finally. They've been steamrolling through everybody that they've been playing. They shut down the number one offense in the league, in the Miami Dolphins, who I didn't even realize like how actually unbelievable they've been doing. They broke the record for most yards across the first 5 games of the season, which all in all shows how more impressive that was by the Buffalo Bills defense to be able to do that last week. But the Bills did lose a very key player this week in their linebacker. My goodness, the
Milano.
Milano, he's done for the season. Unfortunately, he was having an
After
unbelievable year.
losing Tre'Davious White for the season as well. I mean, two key
Oh my
defensive guys for
goodness,
that team.
huge, huge. So
Yeah,
that
and
was big.
that was
The
a big loss.
Buffalo
Big loss.
Bills, the Buffalo Bills, big loss in England to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jags looking good with 2 wins in a row in England. They definitely hit a come up while they were over there, uh, possibly turning around their season. But the Buffalo Bills went from steamrolling through anybody that they played to just flat out losing this week. They just lost. That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Jags, I mean, that might as well be a home game for them in London. There's probably more Jags fans out there than there are in Jacksonville. It's pretty crazy, and those are home games for them, and they play, and they
There
go
are a
out
lot of
there and they play
fraudulent
ball.
fans in Jacksonville. A lot of
I'm telling you,
frauds.
they just want to get up on the stage and scream Duval. They don't care
Yeah,
about anything else.
yeah. Hey,
Trevor
that is my
Lawrence looked
favorite
good.
chant in the league, though. I will
Good
say,
one.
I
It's a
do
good
love
one.
Duval chant.
It is
Jags
a
fan.
good one for sure. Jags fans, shout out Jags fans
Hats off.
for sure. Trevor Lawrence looked good, man. Trevor Lawrence looked good. And Josh Allen, I think we have to talk about the turnover problem. So in one of my group chats, we always talk about, I always talk about his interceptions aren't necessarily bad plays and they're not bad throws because for whatever reason, it seems like every time he throws an interception, it's the equivalent of like a really good punt. He's always throwing interceptions inside the 10, inside the 5, on the other side,
Just
and he's
chucks.
throwing bombs.
He just
Yeah,
chucks the
and
ball. His accuracy
exactly.
is gone.
Yeah.
Gone.
Um, I
Tua took
think
it.
I think Josh Allen is a premier. Let's not start with that nonsense. No, I think Josh Allen is a premier quarterback in the NFL. I think he's just got to find Diggs more. We saw Diggs frustrated on the sidelines, and rightfully so. It was kind of like Jamar Chase, which we'll touch on in a little bit, hopefully. But it was kind of the same thing. Last week, Jamar Chase comes out and he says, "Hey, man, I'm open. I'm always effing open." And I think Diggs throwing the tablet the way he did on the sidelines, which I'm sure everyone has seen the video, and it's kind of that same situation. I mean, you got a premier wide receiver with nobody to cover him, and every
Dude,
time he touches the ball, the guy's making a play. So you got to just find it. And I hate quarterbacks who are constantly looking the other way. I don't care if your premier wide receiver is getting double teamed or there's a guy right on him. Throw him the ball. Throw him the ball at least a few times to give him a chance because these guys are so good at the wide receiver position, like a Stephon Diggs, like a Devontae Adams, like a Jamar Chase, that just put it up there and give him a chance. And, it normally works out. So I think Josh Allen and that offense being as explosive as it is because they are a good offense. They have to figure a few things out, but Buffalo's a good team.
absolutely. Absolutely. I can't take anything away from the Bills. I am very happy that they lost, though. Moves the Miami Dolphins back into first place in the division. That is going to be a battle all year. They do play each other last week of the season, which could be for the AFC for all we know. That could be a absolute megalodon of a game, and I am just ecstatic to see how this season plays out.
Yeah, I
We're
hope
gonna
I hope they're in the running for it.
correct.
And the reason I say that is because I actually have tickets to go see the Buffalo Patriots game on December 31st, New Year's Eve in Buffalo. Going to be
Wow.
cold, going to be ecstatic.
Woo!
I'm excited. I'm fired up. Obviously,
Woo!
we're Florida boys. So I'm excited to get that. I wanted to get the full Buffalo experience, and I think New Year's
God,
Eve in Buffalo against the Patriots, I think that's going to be the full Buffalo experience.
dude, that's crazy. That's awesome. Those are some sick tickets, I'm sure. It'll be a good game. Probably going to be one-sided, but especially because it's in December and that's when the best teams become better, you know? That's when the real contenders start to turn up the gears and become better and close out the seasons. That's when you know who is going to be in the Super Bowl. That's when you know who is going to be in those AFC and NFC championship games. By the way that those teams are playing starting that time of the year and rolling it into the playoffs. We're going to
Absolutely.
hit on
December football.
the team that seems to always be in Super Bowl contention now. They have the Super Bowl quarterback Patrick Mahomes, who has overtaken the role of Tom Brady as the best quarterback in the league, and will be for as long as he's in the league.
As long as he's healthy in the league.
Yeah, correct, correct. He is a force to be reckoned with, and so is his team, the Kansas City Chiefs, and their new fan base, the Swifties.
You know, I the Swifties one they're amazing fans, obviously, right? We got to touch on that. I kind of hope and wish that they would stick to music more than the NFL, but we'll give them a pass. Kelsey finally came out and said, "Hey, it's a little redundant. It's a little much." which I think was a good move by him because it was becoming a little much. I don't need to hear about Taylor Swift in a Patriots Cowboys game. I don't need to hear about Taylor Swift in a Patriots Raiders game,
I don't
Patriots
need to see the camera on Taylor Swift.
Saints
The
7 times a
amount
quarter.
of time that they're on Patrick freaking Mahomes.
Anytime
Like,
Kelsey touches the ball, boom, Taylor Swift. I
oh
mean,
my god. Anytime the ball's thrown his way, he doesn't even have to catch it.
yeah, just a target,
Dang.
boom, Taylor Swift.
Uh,
But no, the Chiefs look good, man. The Chiefs always look good, right? As long as they have a guy like Pat Mahomes. Earlier I said that there's not a single quarterback in the NFL that would be good in New England. I think the only guy who would be good in New England right now is Pat Mahomes. They don't, I mean, their receiving room stinks. Let's be quite honest. Sky Moore, Valdez Scanling, I mean,
or
Rice is maybe their best guy right now. I mean, it's
Rice.
atrocious though. These guys might be good in the future. Sky Moore might have a bright future. Rice might have a bright future. But the fact that this guy goes in and he puts up points and makes that offense look good and explosive with these kind of guys is impressive. And it's all Pat Mahomes, and it has a little sprinkle of Andy Reid, because Andy Reid
Travis.
is insane. Of course. I mean, listen, Andy Reid's the salt, Kelsey's the pepper. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And
Okay.
Mahomes is the main course.
Correct.
So you got to sprinkle a little bit of that on there. But yeah, those they're
Andy Reid
incredible.
was not doing what he was doing without Patrick Mahomes. I will say
Well,
he
I
was a
will
winning
say
coach, but he was
he was a
not a
winning
Super
coach.
Bowl winning coach. He was
That is
not
true.
contending every single year.
That is true.
He is now contending every single year.
Yeah, they're in the AFC Championship every year. What do we got? What do we got, West?
Oh my goodness, what a goal.
Big goals in the
What
chat. Who
a
scored?
goal. Oh my goodness.
Penguins, hopefully.
The Pangs.
How
Oh,
much of it?
wait. Actually, that might have been from earlier.
A replay.
Definitely was.
It happens. Hopefully the Penguins get it going. I have Penguins money line tonight. And we have a few big bets that have been hitting so far today. Uh, touch on that real quick. Astros at plus money was a really good bet today. Um, I had Christian Javier, the pitcher for the Astros, over 12.5 pitching outs, which was a pretty free bet. Sonny Gray over 4 strikeouts was a good bet. That hit today. And I have Pittsburgh money line tonight, Pens, Penguins. I had Lightning money line tonight, and I have the Kraken Golden State. I have, I'm sorry, Golden State, Golden Knights, Vegas money line tonight. So hopefully we get those things going tonight. But yes, hockey is back. Hockey's back. The
Hockey's
Chiefs
back.
are back. I mean, it's a good time to be a sports fan right now. NBA's coming, NHL's here. We got postseason baseball. NFL's in full gear. I mean, it is exciting time to
Correct.
be a sports
This
fan.
is officially the best time of the year. It's the
100%
most wonderful time of
of
the
the year. It is. It really is. A lot of sports. A lot of sports.
All right, next NFL team we got going. We got the Bengals. They could be back. They look
Cincy.
like the Bengals finally for the first time this year after Jamar Chase said, "I'm open. I'm always fucking open." You know why? Because Jamar Chase clearly is always
Is
fucking.
always open.
He just broke the Bengals individual game reception record last week with 15 receptions. It used to be 13. He had 3 touchdowns. The man just absolutely took over and went off.
Which the
Off.
13 catches was also held by him. I think it was tied, but regardless, he's had 13 catches a few weeks ago and now 15. And yeah, after a bad game where the offense looks horrible like it has all year, this guy comes out and he shows his frustration, which I think is good sometimes. I think it is good to come out and say,
Absolutely.
"Hey, if going to your coach and going to your quarterback might not be the best way, might not be the best look, then go ahead, tell the media, I'm open." Like you said, I'm always fucking open. And sure enough, 3 touchdowns. I mean, I don't even know how many yards. 200 plus, had to be 200 plus. Um,
It was close.
it was close to 200.
Yeah, I know. I just know because Tyreek had 181, I want to say,
And he
and
led.
and Tyreek was second behind what's his name from the
Jamar.
Bears, who had 230.
Okay. Well, I see Jamar Chase had 192, 15 catches,
Oh my,
19 targets,
Jamar West on the field.
192, and 3 tutties with a long of 63 yards. I mean, an insane game for the guy, and they needed it. Without T. Higgins, they needed to come out and show that Joe Burrow can still throw it because he's been looking awful. I was not too worried about the Bengals because eventually, when you got guys like Chase, Burrow, Higgins, Mixon, when you got guys like that, that team is gonna eventually wake up. So I was never too concerned with the Bengals offense, at
Higgins
least.
didn't play this week,
Higgins,
which I feel
because
like
Jamar Chase is always fucking open. That's why.
just opened it up more for
Because Higgins is like, I don't need to be on the field when Jamar's on the field. No, yeah, no, they finally played a good game and made Arizona look like the Arizona that we thought was gonna be like before the season, before Joshua Dobbs.
Joshua Dabbs. Very good guy. My goodness. Yeah, so the Bengals look out. They could be a force again here, folks. They've
For
gone
sure.
very deep in the playoffs the last 2 years. They're looking to do it again. We'll have to wait and see. They are only a two-win team right now. They got some work cut out for them, but it's not too late. It's still early. We're still in the front half of the season. You'll start gathering a real feel as to really where you can predict like who's going to be where at the end of the season here in about 3 4 more weeks, but until then the Bengals have a lot of work cut out for them.
No doubt.
Next we're going to talk about the record breaking Miami Dolphins putting on bigger shows than what was known as the greatest show on turf, the 2000 or 1999. I forgot what year they were. Uh, St. Louis Rams, led by Kurt Warner.
Mm-hmm.
Right now,
Greatest show on turf.
we have the Miami Dolphins doing it on the ground and through the air. You have Tyreek Hill going absolutely berserk this season. The man said he will be the first player over 2,000 yards. And right now, he's on his way. He's averaging 125 a game, which is out of control. The guy's averaging a touchdown a game, which is out of control. Um, he is doing it all. You have Tua Tagovailoa with a ton of passing yards. You have Tua Tagovailoa with a bunch of touchdown passes. The Miami Dolphins offense looks like an absolute force to be reckoned with. Devon A Chain, choo 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 choo. Ride the A chain, baby. He is injured. He got a knee injury, so it's looking like he's going to be out the next 3 to 4 weeks. We don't know officially yet, but it's not looking too bright. But every game that he's been in there, he's averaging over 100 yards right now. So it's just working on all angles for that offense. There is one problem with the Miami Dolphin offense right now, and it is the interceptions with Tua. Tua really needs to get it under control. He threw two last game. I'm pretty sure he's averaging like one a game right now, which is not good. I get it. You pass the ball a lot, but you don't pass it enough to be throwing an interception a game. There are some quarterbacks in this league who are yet to throw an interception this season. So he needs to wake up and be better.
Yeah. Like you touched on, I mean, the Dolphins offense is prolific. It's one of the best offenses in the NFL, if not the best offense in the
It,
NFL.
it is the best.
Um, Well,
You
hey,
strictly, dude, they surpassed the
numbers
minute
wise,
show on turf.
numbers wise, I
Yeah,
think for
exactly.
sure.
Putting up all those
Um,
yards, they are very successful
I
at what they
think, I think, what I would like to see more is I want to see Miami play some real competition. I think against the Bills, obviously they didn't look too good, and the Bills are a good football team.
They got the
Other than
Eagles.
that, yep, that should be a good game for sure. And their schedule gets a little tougher. But
Okay,
like you said, listen, I think Mike McDaniel's is the greatest offensive mind in football right now. I think that guy is the best offensive coach in football. I mean, that what he does, it's not flashy. It's not what it is it's creative. Man, they run the most creative plays I've seen. And Tua doesn't have to sling the ball downfield. Um Tua doesn't no, he's playing to exactly what their strengths are. They have the most speed in the NFL. They get the ball out quick, they get the ball into their playmakers' hands, and then they just beat you to the goal line. It's that simple. They get a few good blocks, and then they let A Chain, Mostert, Tyreek, Waddle do
job.
damage in space. I mean,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
it is impressive.
and and one thing that I have noticed this year is like, yeah, Tua had the most 40 plus yard passes. He had the most like yards through the air, like of the amount of games that he played in last year. Um, and yeah, he had all that, but a lot of his passes last year, you notice like his receivers had to like slow down or come back to sometimes this year when he throws the ball downfield, that man is on point. His receivers are in full stride and they are headed straight towards that end zone. And
Well,
it's been pretty unbelievable to see his growth over the years that he's been in the league in
Well,
regard.
and that's what makes Miami's offense so dangerous, right? Is you got the intermediate routes, you got the short routes, which are just killer. I mean, you get it to Tyreek, and next thing you know, you throw it 2 yards right there on a wide receiver screen, and Tyreek is 60 yards down the field. Or you throw a screen to A Chain, and A Chain's busting it up for 40, 50 yards and a touchdown. So you have that. You have to play the short game, and then next thing you know, Tyreek is running right by you, and then Tua's putting it on him 40,
Correct.
50 yards down the field. It honestly seems every time I watch Tyreek make a 50, 60 yard catch, he's wide open. And
He's unguardable.
that's well, yes, that obviously, and it's Mike McDaniel's, man. You got the short game, you got all that speed, and you have to respect both sides. You have to respect the deep game, and you have to respect the short, intermediate routes, the screens. I mean, it's they have so much speed on that offense, and McDaniel's is so creative that yeah, they have it's a very very potent offense for sure. I
Yeah,
think the interceptions don't really concern me too much with Tua. Um,
they have to shape up because come when they play big teams, you can't
Agreed,
afford those picks. Um,
agreed.
the Dolphins' speed is this is probably the fastest team of all time. At this point in the season, the top 7 speeds that have been hit in the NFL have all been by the Miami Dolphins. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. I think
They're a very fun team to watch.
I think the interceptions don't bother me as much right now because if you watched him throw the two against the Giants, after the second one, he was almost kind of like chuckling. I saw a replay of him throw the interception
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he
he
was
was like,
almost laughing. He was almost like,
"What
ah,
are you
man.
laughing at, bro? Like,
Yeah.
just because 'cause you're up, like, 2, 3 touchdowns, I don't care.
Yeah.
Run it
I
up,
think 100%. And you got to take
run
care of
it
the
up."
football. Like you said, you got some good competition coming up. And if you want to be a Super Bowl contending team, you got to take care of the football. I mean, that's the quarterback's number one job is to take care of the football.
Correct. I completely agree. Completely agree. So, on that note, we're gonna move on from the NFL here. As always, that's my favorite topic. We're going to finish it off with the NBA coming back here soon. I just want to hit on a few teams who had some phenomenal off seasons. The Boston Celtics, the Milwaukee Bucks, and the Phoenix Suns. They all had phenomenal off seasons. The Celtics, yes, they did lose Marcus Smart in the midst. but they brought in the big guy, Porzingis, who I think is going to be a huge, huge jolt to that team. And then they essentially ended up just replacing overall Marcus Smart's role with Drew Holiday, who's an absolute dog on defense. Um, Drew Holiday is an animal on defense. He has the ability to be great on offense. He is, in my eyes, he is inconsistent on offense. When that man did shoot the ball in the playoffs against the Heat this year, I'd start clapping before the ball even hit the net because I knew what was going to happen. So it was it, and you know what? That's essentially like Marcus Smart. Like he's not the most consistent offensive guy, but I will say Marcus Smart does always show up in the big time games in the playoffs. He is always there. He is always a factor. Which is a tough loss for the Celtics, but it's okay. They made up for it by Porzingis and Drew Holiday. I think they got a lot better this offseason.
Yeah, I think, like you said, Marcus Smart is the kind of guy you want on your team. I think every team would be lucky to have a guy like Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart is a dog. I mean, he's a player. He's scrappy. He fights. Shows effort. And like you said, he always puts up his 14 to 17 points, and he's always really good on defense.
He fits the Heat culture very well.
Yes, yes. Drew Holiday is, in my opinion, an upgrade. I mean, let's call it what it is. Drew Holiday might be as good as defensively as Marcus Smart.
Correct.
Um, and then you got his offensive skills. Drew Holiday can give you 20 any given night. He probably doesn't need to anymore. You got your offensive guys with Brown, Tatum, and Porzingis, which I think will help Drew at his age. But yeah, that team got really good. It's the Celtics. I want to see. Listen, I know it's a hot take. It's going to be a really, really hot take, but I think Tatum is a star. I don't think he's a superstar. And I know, I know, I know, I know.
Oh,
Go
Huncho.
ahead and press the
I hate
booze.
the Celtics,
Press the
but
booze.
watch your mouth, Huncho. We
Listen,
don't have booze, but you need to watch your mouth.
I like Tatum. I really do. I'm a fan of Tatum. I'm a big fan of Brown. But
I think
listen,
Brown
the
is the
guy,
reason why they lost last year.
yes, and it might be, but I think, man, Tatum in the playoffs this last year, I've never seen anybody colder in the first half of games. I haven't. I mean, that guy was atrocious in the playoffs in the first half of every game this year. He was. I mean, we can't
Facts.
sugarcoat it. And when it comes to being a superstar to a super loaded team like the Boston Celtics, I need that guy. I mean, there was games where he would go into the half with 3 shots. There was games where he'd go into the half with 6 shots. Listen, dude, I don't care if you're off. You are our guy. And if you want to take that step into the superstar role, I need you to perform in the finals. God bless you.
Thank you.
And in the playoffs, he has performed. I will say he has performed, but then he made it to the finals and he underwhelmed. Brown was better than him against Golden State.
Correct.
And then last year in the playoffs, yes, they made it far.
Tatum did the opposite. He did the opposite against the
The
Warriors. He
complete,
was
yeah,
phenomenal in the first half. No show.
no show.
No show in the second half.
And that whole no show thing has to go. I
You
mean,
got to play a full
you
game.
got to play the whole game, 48 minutes of basketball. You got to be out there and you got to be the best player
I
on
will
the team,
say,
if
I,
not on the court.
I hate the Jalen Brown contract. Very overpaid. It's disgusting.
I
He's
like
getting,
Jaylen Brown.
I think he's getting
I'm a big fan.
$60 million a year, bro.
But in today's league, man, everybody, I mean, you got
Uh,
guys who
I get that, but
how much is Van Fleet making? How much is Dylan Brooks making? I mean,
Dylan
it's
Brooks is making 20. Van
too
Fleet's
much.
making in the 30s, but Jalen Brown is not at 60, bro. He ain't 60.
He's not making 60 a year. No way.
Yeah, $300 million
No.
over 5 years.
No.
Yes, bro.
We got to look that up right now.
Right now,
We got to look that up.
I'm pretty sure it's 305.
Got to look this one up, guys. Sorry.
303. $303.7 million over 5 years.
Wow. Wow. That's the super max, huh? Sheesh.
Damn it, you can't see it.
I could see it.
Read it.
I just looked it up on my own end. It's that's yeah, you're right. 60
Saying
million. But I mean,
60,
that's where
bro.
we're
He's
headed.
not
That's where we're headed.
okay. That's where we're headed. But
Mhm.
Jalen Brown, bro, that's it, dude. He just set a standard for for
Everybody.
just an all-star now. Like all-stars are gonna get 60 million. Nah, bro. Superstars have to get that money, not the all-stars. You don't do that. That is ridiculous. He is not a superstar by any means. He's an all-star. Um, the Milwaukee Bucks landed Damian Lillard, and the Phoenix Suns landed Bradley Beal, two blockbuster players landing in those organizations. As I spoke on it before, the Miami Heat's with an all-time major slip up there. Damian Lillard is who I felt what was going to put them above that hump and allow them to snag another championship and that for that Heat organization. The Heat had Jimmy Butler to will them to the finals, but Jimmy was a no-show in the finals. We need a true purebred scorer. Jimmy Butler has proven to be different in the playoffs, but he is not known as a true purebred scorer. A person who will go out and give you 30 a night any night of the entire season is Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard is a purebred scorer. I think the Milwaukee Bucks, in my opinion, are far, by far, as long as they can stay healthy, the certified NBA championship front runners. I
Um,
don't see anybody who is going to compete with them. The Celtics have a phenomenal roster. The Nuggets are phenomenal. Phoenix has a phenomenal roster, but the Bucks are built different in my eyes.
well, I agree with you there. I think the Bucks got better. Obviously, you got a guy like Damian Lillard to be next to Giannis is unfair, and then you keep Middleton, which was I think really important because
Huge.
Middleton's big time and he's a big time player in the
Oh
playoffs.
my God.
Where Drew Holiday kind of lacked that in the playoffs, Middleton picked up the slack, and
Right.
now you got a
You know
guy like
Dame won't
Dame.
do that. You know Dame
Oh,
won't play like
yeah, we're
I won't be cheering when Damian Lillard shoots the ball against the Miami Heat.
yeah, and listen, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. I'm going to say this. I think the team that won that trade, I think both teams won. I think all three teams won that trade. I really do. I think it was a win-win-win situation. I think the Suns got away with the best part of that deal, and I'll tell you why. They got rid of Aiton, who was already unhappy, and Aiton is soft like Charmin. I hate the way he plays.
Eaton
He is
sucks
so
too.
soft. He barely tries to get a rebound. He
They
barely
got
go puts it
Nurkic.
back up. They got Nurk, and Nurk is a perfect piece for that team. You
Huge.
don't need Aiton to put up 18 to 20. No, you got Nurkic who can get you a rebound and get you a lot of
No,
rebounds.
I think Nurkic is better than Aiton. Genuinely, I think he's better than Aiton.
I think he's better situated for that team. I don't know if I'd go as far to say he's better than Aiden as a player, but I will say he fits that system a lot better than Aiden. Aiden needs touches and he's too soft. I have Nurkic who can get you rebounds, and that's exactly what that team needs. And he's a big man who can pass and he can bring up the ball. I mean, Nurkic is very talented. I think he's very slept on.
At the
He
floor.
he can run to the floor and
Floor.
he can get you boards. And that's what that team needs. They got shooters. They got a few shooters. Grayson Allen, who's a good 3-and-D kind of guy. They got a few other pieces who I can't really think of right now, but they that trade was really good for the Suns because they needed some depth. They needed some guys on the bench, and they got that. And then they also needed some guys who can play defense, rebound, and just play their roles around a team that is as loaded offensively as Devin Booker, who is a purebred scorer, Kevin Durant, who might be the best scorer I've ever seen, and
Ever.
then you got Bradley Beal, who averages 30. They got shooters, they got it all. I mean, that team's gonna be
Go by
scary.
the pangs.
I'm gonna go real quick and mention the Lakers. You know, I gotta mention my Lake Show, baby. I
Correct.
think they had a great offseason, man. I think they had a really good offseason. They got Christian Woods. You got a guy like that. Your
That's
boy
very
Vincent.
concerning to add depth.
Your
Gabe
boy
Vincent,
Vincent,
dog.
big time. We got D'Lo back. We got Rui back. We get guys like Jackson Hayes, and we bring Austin
Yeah,
Reeves back. Listen, we got a good roster over there in LA right now.
yeah, the Lakers did their job this offseason,
If
no
they
doubt.
can stay healthy, that's all.
They
It all depends on health, and it's been
LeBron
like
James
that for
is
three
there.
years.
LeBron James, Anthony Davis, they're there. LeBron is the best player of our entire generation and probably ever that the game has ever seen. Um,
I'm gonna disagree with both those statements, but
wait.
I'll let you believe it. I'll let you believe it. I
Who
know it's
who
it's
is
another hot take.
of our generation? Who's better than LeBron?
Kobe Bean, baby.
All right, everybody's going to disagree with you there.
Kobe Bean. I know.
I don't.
Listen,
I
99
don't even have to argue this.
99.9% of the people are gonna disagree with me.
Oh my
But
god.
listen, I've watched Kobe Bryant do a lot more with a lot less. And that's all I
Mhm.
gotta say. I've watched both
In,
of them my entire
in
life
a league that wasn't as talented at the time.
in a league where Kobe Bryant has beat more 50-win teams than both Michael and
Kobe Bryant
LeBron.
also had that his back-to-back championship where he didn't have another superstar. He still did have two All-Stars on that team, and
Absolutely.
then
I mean, he
other
had he had
players
Pau
too,
Gasol,
Pau
who
Gasol and Andrew Bynum, who were both All-Stars.
Andrew Bynum, who was good for 2 years, and then went off to play with LeBron James and was not very good. So listen,
LeBron James
and he had
is the
his
best player
who
that
was the fourth best player on that
we
Lakers
have ever
team? Lamar
witnessed
Odom, and
since
Lamar Odom was on crack. Lamar Odom was on crack
Lamar
playing six
Odom or
man.
Derek Fisher. Who knows? Who knows? The league was significantly less talented back when that was going on. But aside from that, I'm not even going to name the numbers that LeBron James has put up in his career, um, because he obviously is the best that we've ever seen. But I will round out this this pod right here with folks. Thank you for tuning in. Seb Hunchooo, thank you for coming in. I really appreciate you. If you have any last words, go ahead.
Yeah, for sure, man. I want to obviously thank you and thank the pod. Thank everybody who's watching. But thank you, Ricky West, for having me on this soon to be famous pod.
Big
Big
chats,
chats.
baby.
Big
Big
old
chats.
chats. Big
Seb,
old chats. I
Seb,
want to
you
say one last thing, if you would let me. Um, I just want to give a shout out to my Twitter. I just started a Twitter for bets and a
hey,
Discord.
there we
So the
go.
Twitter is ITG_picks in the green. ITG_picks, baby.
Good
Check
vibes.
it out.
Folks,
Join
go
the
follow
Discord.
him. What's up, Molly? How we
And
doing?
yeah, Molly's like, let's wrap this up, brother. But
Folks,
once again, big thank you. Big thank you, brother.
absolutely. Seb, thank you for tuning in. Folks, like, subscribe. Make sure you subscribe and tune back in to Big Chats with Ricky West. Seb, thank you for coming out.